Next question.
Let's do it.
Do you have any recommendations for careers that are similar to the military and or careers that are based on leadership? Context. Here's the context. I applied to the Canadian Armed Forces to be a signals officer, and I failed my medical. Signals officer, you know what that is?
Yeah, it's basically a communications officer.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, currently looking for alternatives.
Well, I'm not sure what the physical shortfall is. I'm going to assume that the physical shortfall was something that was disqualified you from any type of military. So maybe you have really bad vision. Maybe you have really bad hearing in an ear. Maybe you have some irregular heart thing. Maybe there's just some blood type, just something. There's a bunch of things that can do that to people. And so I'm going to assume that it was bad enough that you can't join the military at all. Okay. The next thing is, can you get into some kind of police or law enforcement? That's the next question, because maybe there's something that disqualifies you from the military, but you could still get into police and law enforcement. And by the way, if you can't get into that, what kind of, maybe some kind of an anti-terror agency that you could possibly go into? And I would say the next step from there is, what kind of an intelligence agency you could go work for? What kind of a person, could you be a person that learns a language, that learns, some technical skills that allows you to pursue people through the interwebs? There's a lot of terror happening on the interwebs, and it needs to be stopped. So who's doing that? Cyber war. Cyber war is real. I mean, it's real. So is there something that you could pursue in there? And guess what? You're doing it virtually, right? But you're still hunting down terrorists and catching bad guys and preventing terror attacks. So even though it's not, shooting a machine gun, it still has a huge impact. And I'll tell you what, in the future, it might even have a bigger impact than the guys that are shooters. So there's that avenue to look at. And same thing in law enforcement. There's certain professions that you can get where you're not actually a police officer, but you're a forensic scientist that goes and looks at crime scenes and tries to figure out what happened. So there's definitely some roads to go down there. Then there's firefighting, of course. There's being a paramedic. That's another good one. Those are all service based. And so that's like a whole group, right? That's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then let's say you can't do any of those things. Well, then what? Well, for me, it's really easy. Construction, software engineering, being a salesperson, going into technology, being a plumber, being an electrician, going into automotive repair. What? All those jobs. If you are getting after in those jobs, they're all, you can excel, you can own your own company, you can get after it, you can lead, you can make a ton of money. Any one of those jobs, you can make a ton of money. Any of them. If you are a professional and you take pride in your work and I saw something the other day. I wish I could find it. I'd try and post again. It was just a plumber had obviously done this massive job where all these pipes were all coming and going into one thing. And there was, probably 20 or 30 little pieces of pipe, but they were all perfectly aligned, perfectly exact. And it was in some, storage, mechanical room, but it just looked like so professional. And that's the kind of thing that, no matter what your job is, what are you going to do? All you need to do is step up and get after it. And all those jobs, any job that you're doing, that your work, that you enjoy, do something that you enjoy. And what makes you enjoy things? To me, what makes you enjoy things is doing them well and practicing and getting good at them and having pride in your work. That's awesome. So I would say, you got to find something that you like doing and get after it.
A lot of times, just in general, as far as finding what you want to do. Sometimes people are like, hey, I like to, surf. So I'm going to go be a surf instructor or something like that. Usually, how to find what you want to do doesn't have to do directly. It's like, what are the things that stimulate you or motivate you or whatever that make you like surfing or make you like whatever. It's like, so a lot of it is real like basics, like I like problem solving this way or something like that. So tip there is look at what you like to do or like what you like to watch on
for
TV
instance,
or whatever.
I like to work with my hands. Okay,
Right.
good. Then you need to be a carpenter. You need to be
Right.
a plumber. You need to be an electrician.
Yeah.
Oh, I like to work with my brain. Okay. You like to solve problems. Okay, become a software engineer where you're trying to figure out how to map all those things together, or a statistician. I like numbers. I'm going to be a stat. So yes, absolutely. What are you interested in? And then what job requires that type of mindset and skill? Because it's always fun because I work with so many different companies in every different industry. And whenever I meet, there's always a group of people that are just into their job, right? Yeah. They're into it and they want to be the best. And it doesn't matter what it is. And I've had, I work with companies, every different industry. And sometimes I think to myself, well, this is a weird industry. I kind of, just think, it's weird that I'm going to work with this particular company because this is a weird industry. Right. And then I meet the person that's bringing me in and they're talking to me about their business like they're going into combat.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the most positive way.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, this is what we want to do. This is our vision right here. And they're talking about, selling shampoo. I mean, you know what I mean? Like just something that they're into and they just want to do the best that they can at it. And that becomes a passion and a fuel. So it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. And it translates, the attitude that they bring to it and the leadership that they bring to it translates into their whole life. That's what makes people successful in business and life is when they bring that attitude of I'm going to do this the best of my ability. And I'm going to grow and I'm going to get better and I'm going to find my weaknesses and I'm going to work on those. And the next thing you know, these people are owning their own businesses and it's awesome.
Yeah.